What's up, y'all? Welcome back. You found us again. Here we are, Iron Revival. This week, we wanted to hit you with a little Q and A. We picked out 5 questions we got over the course of the past week or so, and we just wanted to give you some quick answers to those. Keep in mind that some of these questions, even though they're basic, may be something that you can use if you're a coach to help out your clients or help explain things a little bit better so that they understand. Anyways, Roger, without any further ado, are you all set?
I think so.
Okay, well, let's do it.
What are the questions?
Okay, well, I'm just going to give them to you off the rip right here. Okay. I'm just kidding. You've already seen these in advance, but we will take our time to answer these. All right, I'm going to set my little timer here. And number one thing on a swing to practice, what would it be?
I'm going to give you 2 things. Just because I see these things hand in hand. The 2 biggest issues I see is the difficulty using the hips independent of the back, and timing. And once you get the hip back thing down, it's by far timing. That's, I'd say, 75% of the stuff I see with swings is really taking the timing from a 2-beat move and making it a 4-beat move. And what that really is all about is just accentuating the pauses. So
got it.
Hips, separation, float, reintegration, get back into the body.
Perfect. I love it. Sounds good. And you can check out a drill 1 through 4, and we'll post that up on our Instagram page. You can check it out. Number 2, why after a kettlebell cert do I still not have as tight and clean of a clean as I'd like?
Yeah, that's a good question. And, that one, that's stuff that, we've talked about in terms of, integrating some educational steps in order to make this a bit better. It seems with people that you get the swing down just fine, you get the snatch down just fine. It seems like the clean is the last thing to really dial in. I think the problem becomes the ability to use the hip. You have less momentum usually when you're going into a clean. You're either going into it from the ground off of your first, hike pass. You don't have the same momentum that you do, and people don't often do multiples. Plus the actual space that the kettlebell moves, as opposed to a snatch or a swing, you don't have the same potential energy to fuel the next one. So I think really what it has to do with is people tend to underpower it with the lower body. Sometimes it's overpowered, but usually they tend to underpower it. And just as a quick remedy, throw in a swing first or a snatch first, and then get into your clean. That's usually the fastest way. Get people to feel what it's supposed to feel like, and then they can find ways within their own body to replicate it. But usually it is just not getting into the lower body, and not pulling the bell in at the right time or to the right place.
Got it. All right, I like that. A great takeaway from that is making sure you have the right power. I, for one, have used the swing first and then the clean, and then I started to understand, just like you said, how much power to drive into those legs. Next question, is there any value in training heavy snatches?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. That was quick.
You can use, a snatch is a great power move, and really what you're looking at when you're training power is you want to stick to a certain percentage. When that percentage gets too high, your speed drops, and, power is really a measure of work and speed. How quickly can you do this work? So, training heavy too often will probably teach you to be slow. But once you get the sensation of training heavy snatches, you're really asking your muscles to do more. And let's say you're working with a 24 kilo bell as your snatch test bell. Let's say you can benefit if you can handle a 32. Yes, they're going to be slower, especially in the beginning. But you use that 32 for a few rounds, and you go back to the 24, and those things feel like they're flying. Post-activation potentiation, or the post-activation potential, you ask your brain to do things to get stronger, and then you lower the load, and you feel like you're just immortal. You're just super strong.
Easy breezy.
Some value in and of themselves, training on their own, but also value in cultivating more power, for sure.
Got it. Wonderful. All right, this is kind of in the same vein. I only have one bell, a 24 kilogram kettlebell. Can I get my press stronger with just that?
You know, we have incomplete information. You know, if we assume that a 24 kilo kettlebell is a working weight, then yes, you know, some studies vary, but it seems like you're going to need to get over that probably 55-60% threshold of your max load in order to affect your strength. So assuming the 24 kilo kettlebell gets there, then, you know, yeah, you can work on volume, you can work on some drills, you can work on pauses. You can also get creative with that bell, and tie shit to it. You know,
Actual shit.
get some shoelaces and a milk carton. Like you can figure it out. Add a band. There are ways to take a single bell and perform, you know, a common drill you'll hear about is like a press and a half. So you'll go up one full press, then go up a half a press, and you can stop the second press wherever you want. You can stop it, you know, let's say you want to work on the lockout, you can stop it higher, you know, and go from here up. If you're having a hard time right off of the right at the beginning of the press, you can start here, go up and work that range. But yeah, you and of course you can always do bottoms up, which will also help.
Awesome. All right, last one. Let's make it count. What's the potential pitfall to training with complexes?
Well, you know, one thing that I'll see with complexes is, you know, the nature of what complexes train. You have to look at the time. Complexes are done over a period, and it's usually long. You know, you're usually getting into that, you know, 1-2 minute mark, which you know, 2 minutes would be a pretty long complex, but you know, most of them are going to go for about a minute. So when you're looking at energy systems and what you can actually do in that time, you're getting into that glycolytic phase. You're getting more into that hypertrophy phase, and they're good at that. You can do some shorter complexes where you're really moving some serious weight. But a common pitfall I'll see with that is, you know, not respecting or not considering a limiting factor. So, you know, I'll see someone putting together a complex with let's say a bicep curl and a 2-arm swing in the same complex, and you're leaving something on the table. Unless you have some very lopsided muscles, you're not going to be able to 2-arm swing the same weight that you can, or vice versa. You're not going to be able to curl the same weight you can 2-arm swing. You know, if we're looking at, you know, someone my size, an adult male, you know, shouldn't have much trouble swinging at least a 40 kilo kettlebell with 2 hands. That's a pretty difficult bell to curl. And even if you curl it, let's say 5 times, which is a lot of reps, well, how many swings can you do with that? So people don't look at the limiting weight. You know, another common one is they'll throw a windmill in there, and windmills are cool. Nothing wrong with those, but they're primarily a mobility move, and they're difficult to train heavy. I'm not saying you can't do it, and I'm not saying there won't be some exceptions, but if you're throwing in, you know, a windmill with a press or a bent press or a side press and a squat, maybe even some ballistics, you're not going to be able to use the same weight. And then now you need to adjust your complex in order to accommodate the windmill. So now you've taken your mobility move and you've made that the main course rather than the snack that it is. So you want to make sure you really address what your limiting factor is and build your complexes according to the kind of load that you can and should move based on your desired goal, and understand that, you know, complexes are not for building power. Complexes are not for building mobility unless they're a mobility complex. They're really good at hypertrophy. They're really good at strength endurance. They're good at a lot of things. So they're awesome. You just have to consider what's holding you back, and don't let one move ruin your entire complex.
It's sort of like the Apple philosophy. One bad one can ruin the whole bunch. All right, Roger, that was excellent. Thank you. And for all the rest of you out there, tune in next week for more training tips and coaching from Iron Revival. Sign up here, or here. Stay strong.